Hi there. Hi there. So today we're going to go over what we talked about in class, which is adding mixed numbers with like denominators. So the workload is pretty easy because the denominators are the same, so we don't have to find any LCDs or LCMs. There's some regrouping though, so going back to our skills of changing a improper fraction to a mixed number is going to come into play here. And maybe finding some greatest common factors because, we have to reduce or simplify every fraction at the end of our operation. So let's jump right in. So we're going to be adding mixed numbers with like denominators. So I had the students set it up several ways. The best way that I like to use, I like to set up if I have something like 3 and 2/3 plus 2. Let's do 2/3 again. I like to separate them. Oh, it's a terrible line. So over here on this side, we have whole numbers, and on this side, we have our fractions. So on the steps that we took notes on today, we said add the fractions first. So that's what we'll do, add the fractions first. Now, since the denominator is already the same, like I said, that makes our workload way easier. We know our denominator is going to be 3 because we don't add those. We do add the numerators, though. 2 plus 2 is 4. So here we have an improper fraction, and we're going to convert that into a mixed number. Now, I've showed the students before, you've seen it before yourself. If you watch the videos, dividing is a way to do it. There's a modeling method with using blocks. For these fractions, since the fractions are going to be smaller numbers, I'm going to use the subtraction method, which is pretty cool, and it's fairly easy, and it will save you a couple of steps in trying to divide. So essentially I have improper fractions. So there's a whole number in here somewhere, right? And a whole number can be written as a fraction if the top numerator and the bottom denominator are the same. So in other words, if I try to subtract 3/3, which this is a whole number, 3/3 is a whole number. If I can subtract that, that means I can take one whole number out, right? And just like subtraction, just like addition, we don't worry about the denominators for this operation. So this is still 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So my mixed number from this improper fraction is 1 and 1/3. 1 and 1/3. Well, the 1 has to be regrouped over to the side with the whole number. So we'll take that bad boy, put them over here somewhere. Plus, 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 plus 1. And our fraction is 1/3, so we can leave that there. Let's give ourselves some room here. And then we're done with our fraction for now. We have 1/3 over here, so let's jump over and add our whole numbers. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So I want the students to rewrite the sum as 6. Oops, that's not supposed to be there. 6 and 1/3. Now we got lucky here. I've been telling them that if you see the numerator is 1, then you don't have to reduce. It's a unit fraction, so there's no need to reduce because you can't divide 1 by 2. And those fractions with a 1 in the numerator will be reduced already, so that's fine. Let's do one where we have to do some reducing so we can see that step. Okay, so let's do 2 and let's do 6/10 plus 3 and, you know what, let's do 4/10, just so you can see this example. Let's split those up. Okay, so follow the steps the same way. We're going to add our fractions first. 6 plus 4 is 10/10, right? And I can subtract the whole number. We know 10/10 is 1, but just to go to the step. So I do have a whole number here, right? I can subtract that. That whole number can be regrouped, brought over here. And I have no fractions, so over on this side it'll be 0. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we end up with just 6, so we have no fractions. All right, pretty easy. Now let's try another one with reducing. All right, let's do 1 to 1 2/4 plus 2 and you know what, let's change this. Let's do 2/14. 1 and 2/14 plus 2 and 2/14. Yeah, let's try that. That should work. That might give us what we're looking for. 1 and 2/14 plus 2 and 2/14. So add our fractions. 2 plus 2 is 4, so we have 4/14 here. And 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, so notice that the fraction is not improper over here on this side. Our fraction is not improper, so we don't have to regroup a whole number over to this side. But what we do have is a 4, not a 1, so we need to reduce this 4/14, right? So we do our U-turns with 4 and 14. 1 times 4 is a factor of 4, and 2 times 2. And for 14, we have 1 times 14, 2 times 7. So we look for the greatest common factor, the biggest number they both have in common. In this case, it is 2. That means we can divide the top and the bottom of 4/14 by 2. So I'm just going to move this over a little bit. So we have 4/14, and we can divide the top and bottom by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So our new fraction half is 7. And like I said, over here we didn't need to regroup any whole numbers, so it stays 3. Well, it looks like a mess, but our answer is 3 and 2/7. So that's it. Pretty easy. If you have any questions, talk to me tomorrow. Hopefully this will help a little bit with the homework if you haven't already done it. And, feel free to pause the video and go over the steps if you need to. Oops. And that should do it for today. Sorry the video came late. I got stuck doing something else. So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.